Welcome back everybody, Todd here. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. It's another cold day here in Michigan. It's the last day of December and I thought I would go ahead and do a video that I've been thinking about doing for a while now. One of the things that I've been looking at as I get ready for the upcoming touring season in 2025 is kind of readdressing my luggage. And if you've been following the channel, you know that I picked up the 2024 Harley Davidson Road Glide. I traded in my 2021 Sport Glide, made the move to the touring chassis. Super happy with that 2024 Road Glide. Been doing some build kind of things on it or some light tweaking on it. I added some highway pegs and just a few other things. I did add a luggage rack to it. Since I got the Road Glide, one of the things that I've been thinking about is what to do about luggage. Now, with my 2021 Sport Glide, I had a luggage rack on it, and I have the Nelson Rigg, I think it's Route 1 Tour Pack suitcase, big size suitcase, worked out perfectly on my Sport Glide, and I have fitted it onto the Road Glide, though I haven't done anything with it, haven't taken any trips. But so one of the things that I'm really toying with or thinking about is, should I really be maybe considering putting a tour pack on there? I've looked at, they've got the Razor, and of course you've got the full-fledged, the big one, but I really like the chop, the looks of the chop tour pack. And so I've been thinking about that. Should I be looking at that as an alternative or to kind of work in? So that's what I wanted to look at today. I'll take you over to the bike. I'll show you my rack. I'll show you the setup that I have with that Nelson Rigg bag, and let's talk about tour packs. I've been doing a lot of research. I'll kind of bring you along with my journey of what I'm finding, and then I could use some help, put it out there to you guys. What are you doing for luggage? What are you doing for touring and taking trips and that kind of a thing? So, all right, let's go over to the bike. Let me show you what I'm doing. Here's my Road Glide, and kind of take you back here and look at, here's the rack that I put on there, and I went with a larger size rack. Now, I had started out looking at the Harley Davidson rack, and of course this is a removable 2-up luggage rack. I ended up buying this on Amazon. I think I spent about 89 bucks on it. The Harley Davidson rack was, I don't know, north of 200, I think $269 for basically the same size. That's not true. The Harley Davidson rack, I think from here to here is 1.5 inches wider, but as far as width side to side, it's the same size and setup. So yeah, I'm happy with, and this thing is stout. I think I did a video on it. I'll put a link in the description, but I'm super happy with this. It's really solid, and I went with the HOG WORKZ docking hardware, and I'm happy with that too, although I think I probably overspent even to do that. But nonetheless, that's what my setup is right now. So let me go grab that Nelson Rigg bag and throw it on there, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, here's the bag on the bike. I've got it all adjusted. I've got it set on the rack the way I would want it to if I was traveling. And yeah, let me grab the camera and give you an up-close look just to show you the fitment, how this big bag fits on that rack, etc. We're going to be dealing with autofocus, but I'll do the best I can to show you what I'm working with. So you can see the front of the rack and where the front of the bag is. So if you look at that, it really holds the bag quite nicely. I've looped it in here so I can pull outward on both sides. So I'm pulling out, and you can see that's tethered in there good. It's not going to go back. You see it can't really roll back. And in the back it's done the same way, so it can't really come forward. So as far as that goes, it's a nice fit on the bike. I can open my bags without any problem, so that clears. Okay, coming around back, you can see the back of the rack. That rack comes right to the edge of the bag, right? So it's not like, I think I mentioned that the Harley Davidson rack, I think, is 1.5 inches further this way. But I don't need it because the bottom of that is fitting right on the bag. So another 1.5 inches isn't going to do much for me. And then you can see how I've got this one kind of on a diagonal, like so. And then I've got this one on a diagonal a little bit like that. And so if you try to pull this back and forth, it's really on there quite well. And it's very well supported. So as far as running a bag and a rack, you can see how much is supported and how much is unsupported. There's not that much hanging over on each side that's unsupported. It's really a good fit, again, as far as racks go. Now, these, to clean this up, you can see this right here, it's a elastic. And you take this excess, you fold it up and stick it up under there. So I'll do that, I'll clean it up, and then I'll come back and show it to you. All right, so if you look at this, here's your elastic, here's your excess. That's all trimmed up and it's nice. You're not gonna have anything flapping in the wind, anything like that. So we've got all 4 corners are tucked in just like that. Now I've got that set up to go on there and kind of come around the front and we'll look at the same scenario. Here's my front, right? So all 4 corners are set up like that. Well, when you get to your destination, honestly, all you're doing is popping that off and pulling it off. When I go to stick it back on the next morning, I don't have to readjust this. It's already adjusted. I just loop it through, pop it into place, and I'm good to go. Again, I've been doing a lot of research on different luggage, on tour packs, different sizes of tour packs. So, you know, I'm just kind of sharing with you what I'm looking at, what I'm thinking about. I've looked at the Rick Rack system, okay, which is really nothing more than a small suitcase with a mechanical attachment built into it. So instead of attaching it with these straps like the Nelson Rigg bag and many others, again, I'm just undoing it here. Instead of, with the Rick Rack, instead of using the straps, get this, I don't want to scratch the bike. But I mean, how long did that take to take it off, right? Now I've got it here and I'm off to the hotel. So the Rick Rack has a frame built into it that you've got to have the right size rack, but it just clips on, the frame clips onto here. So then you're buying a bag from them that has a frame built into the bottom that'll clip onto the bottom of your rack. I like it, that's cool, but a couple of thoughts on that. Number one, it's expensive, man. You're looking at between $500 and $600 for the Rick Rack system, and I didn't give anywhere near that for this thing, and it has a lifetime guarantee on it. And, you know, one of the things that they're saying is it saves so much time, but I mean, seriously, how much time is this going to take for me to put this on here, loop it around like I've done, because it's all set up, right? So these are already pre-adjusted to be the right size. So I'm just dropping this in and clipping it. I didn't have to readjust anything. And then here again, sticking it right back like I had it before, just trying to make sure I don't have any straps twisted. Buckle that one down. buckle this one down and I'm there. There, I'm back on. You know, I've heard in some of the videos that guys who are sponsored are doing on the Rick system. You know, they're talking about, yeah, the guys that I was riding with took them 15 minutes to put their bags back on, or half an hour. Silly. I mean, you saw in real time. I know it was probably painful for you to just watch me for what was probably a minute to put it back on, you know? So it's kind of hard for me to throw stones at this setup. I mean, it's worked for me on the other bike, but that's only when I'm traveling with it on a trip. You know, you lose the benefits of having some sort of a bag out here beyond just your saddle bags. So that's where I'm looking at something like, if I had that Chop tour pack, you know, that'd be nice. Now I get to a destination, I'm going to a restaurant or something like that, I could throw my jacket right into the tour pack, you know, or, you know, just stuff like that. So I'm trying to weigh that. But that's my setup. I'll give you one more look at it, and then let's talk tour packs, because I'll talk to you a little bit about what my research is showing me, and then I can open it up, and hopefully you guys can give me some pointers. All right, just giving you one kind of final look at how that thing sits on the bike, you know, height-wise, what it looks like. I like the fact that I can get into my saddlebags. All right, so anyways, that's that Nelson Rigg setup and how it fits on the bike. Okay, I guess one more thing to kind of throw in there is I never ride two up. I mean, the only time I would ever ride two up is if I was giving a buddy or something a ride because their bike conked out or something and I had to give somebody a ride to a gas station or something like that. But yeah, I'm not riding two up. So when I'm looking at luggage and touring and those kinds of things, I'm riding solo. So that gives me some options that a lot of you guys that are riding two up, you know, you don't have the same kind of luxuries that I have. If you're packing for two people, that's a whole different thing. So here's why I'm looking at the tour pack. I like the idea of having some extra storage there, you know, because I typically ride, I've got stuff in my saddlebags, if you're like me. I mean, I've got an air pump, you know, and I've got a jump starter, I've got tools, I've got my hat and stuff like that, you know, some bug slide, and I throw my rain gear in there and stuff like that. And that starts to occupy space pretty quickly, you know. And so it would be nice to have a tour pack and I always ride geared up. So I've always got a jacket that's got armor in it, and of course my helmet, gloves, and that kind of thing. It'd be nice to have a tour pack where you can just throw your jacket in there and gloves and stuff like that. If you're coming out of a restaurant, you've got some leftovers, no problem. Grab a to-go bag and throw it in that tour pack or something, you know. I mean, I'm sure there's lots of other things that I could use it for, but, you know, those are just some things that come to mind. And I don't know if I would want to ride with it on there all the time, but I don't know that I wouldn't. And that's where I think some feedback could be helpful. I've read a lot of comments. Guys are like, yeah, I didn't think I'd use it at all. He got it and he's never taken it off. You know, I've heard that story over and over. Well, okay, so here's what I'm looked at. I looked at what does Harley Davidson charge for the tour pack. I looked at Advanblack. I looked at HOG WORKZ. And then, grab this paper here. And then I looked at Amazon and TCMT through Amazon. Obviously you watch YouTube, you know, Traveling Tall, he put the TCMT on his, and he loved it, and he says it was great. And I read a lot of the comments from other people that have done that same tour pack, and they're happy with it. But I mean, here's what I'm finding. So for Harley Davidson, for that chopped tour pack with the small pad on the back, it's $1,325. If you buy it through HOG WORKZ, it's $749, call it $750. If you get it through Advanblack, it's $704. Now, with the three of those, you still have to have the mounting rack. And so the Harley Davidson mounting rack is $229.95. The HOG WORKZ mounting rack is $159.98. And the Advanblack mounting rack is $179. Now, we'll say this about Advanblack. They've added some wings underneath it that kind of widens the support out, and I like that. I don't know if I like it for $179 worth, but you're getting a lot better value there than if you bought it through Harley Davidson or through HOG WORKZ. The TCMT on Amazon, that tour pack with the backrest, including the mounting rack, is $282. That's in vivid black. So if you look at the all-in price, taxes and everything else, Harley Davidson's $1,556 plus $93 in tax. HOG WORKZ $909 plus $55 in tax. Advanblack $883 plus $53 in tax. And the TCMT is $298 all in, taxes included. So, you know, you got to ask yourself, do you go the Amazon route? Man, I've read a lot of reviews. Some guys are really trashing it. They've had problems with it, etc. I also read a lot of bad reviews on HOG WORKZ, Advanblack, and Harley Davidson. And I think a lot of that too is, how'd you install it? You know, did you drop 4 bolts through in a washer, or do you have the aluminum plate in there, you know? Did you over tighten it? I mean, you can have problems with everything. We all know that. You start over torquing stuff, or you don't torque it down enough, etc. So, yeah, I mean, you kind of got to read between the lines in a lot of these reviews, but I'm really curious to know, are you running an Amazon tour pack? Are you running Advanblack, HOG WORKZ, Harley Davidson? What do you like about it? What do you not like about it? What am I not thinking about when I'm looking at spending $300 all in versus, you know, the numbers I just gave you? If you're from HOG WORKZ, or if you're from one of the other companies, Advanblack. Hey, Advanblack, I've got the handguards on there. You know, I'll say this about Advanblack. I was having issues with my handguard install. I called up, customer service was left on hold forever. Hey, leave us a message, we'll get right back with you. Yeah, I went that way twice. Nobody ever called me back. So what's up with that? You know, so are you going to tell me the reason I should buy your tour pack is because you have such great service? I'm already a paying customer and I haven't experienced that. Just saying. Keeping it real. So, I mean, everybody's selling something, right? Talk to me out there. Give me the feedback. I haven't made up my mind one way or another. I can afford to do any one of them that I want to. Doesn't mean that I want to overpay. I mean, I could take a chance on that Amazon one. I could buy 4 of those for the same cost as 1 Harley Davidson. So, yeah, all right, I'll quit rambling. Help me out and give me some feedback. I'll do a follow-up video on this, let you know kind of what I'm hearing, what I'm thinking, and I'm sure I'll do something, and if I do, when I do, I'll put it on here. If you're from one of those other companies and you want to send me a tour pack, I'll take it. All right. Hey, as usual, I appreciate you tagging along, listening to my ramble. I've got a lot more coming on this Road Glide build. And if you've been following the channel, you know we're doing some building on my wife's Honda NX500 light touring bike. I've got that Kawasaki Versus light touring bike. I've got my Kawasaki KLX 300. So I've got a lot of different motorcycles, a lot of different content that I do. So yeah, come on back and follow, and we'll see you on the next one.